Jax was a janitor. His domain was the stars. He lived aboard Starbase Epsilon. It was a lonely outpost, far from the vibrant blue of Earth. His companions were the hum of machinery and the endless sweep of the void outside his viewport. He polished floors that few feet ever touched. He cleaned windows that only looked out onto the infinite tapestry of space. His days were measured in the steady cycles of recycled air and the unchanging glow of artificial light. He was a solitary sentinel in the grand, silent theatre of the cosmos. Each cycle began the same way. The station's gentle programmed alarm would chime. A nutrient-paced, bland but functional, served as his breakfast. Then his rounds commenced. Sector Alpha held long corridors, always silent, gleaming under his diligent touch. Sector Beta housed laboratories, now dormant, their experiments concluded many years prior. He checked the air filters, ensuring their quiet efficiency. He wiped down control panels, their screens dark and inactive. He ensured the robotic maintenance arms were stowed and still. The quiet was his constant companion, a vast, unending quiet, broken only by the soft whispers and clicks of the station itself as it orbited. One particular rotation, during a routine systems check in a rarely visited part of the station, Jax found something new. It was an anomaly in his predictable world. He discovered a forgotten section, sealed off decades ago. The access panel was marked simply with faded lettering. Storage Gamma Sector 7. Curiosity, a rare spark in his meticulously ordered and quiet life, flickered within him. He consulted the station's schematics, then overrode the ancient, dated seals. Dust motes, undisturbed for generations, danced in the bright beam of his utility flashlight. Relics of a bygone era lay scattered within. Old equipment, faded handwritten logbooks, and there, tucked away in a shadowed corner, was a small metallic cylinder. It pulsed with a faint, almost imperceptible internal light. He picked it up. The cylinder felt cool and smooth in his gloved hand. It was clearly a time capsule, a deliberate message sent forth from the distant past. Carefully, with a sense of reverence, he worked the release mechanism. There was a soft hiss of equalizing pressure, and the cap twisted open. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded dark velvet, was not a complex microchip. It was not a high-capacity data crystal. It was something far more elemental, a single tiny seed, brown and unassuming. Yet it held a universe of unseen potential. A silent whisper from a distant time, from a forgotten human hand, reaching out across the years. Jax stared at the seed. It was so incredibly small, so fragile in appearance, a tiny speck of organic matter in his meticulously maintained world of cold metal and complex circuits. He thought of Earth, a planet he only knew from archival footage and old stories. He imagined green fields stretching to the horizon, towering trees reaching for the sky, flowers bursting with vibrant, unimaginable color. This seed was a tangible piece of that lost, living world. A tiny ambassador from a planet teeming with life. It felt ancient. It felt profoundly precious. He knew, with a sudden certainty that surprised him, that he could not simply let it remain dormant and forgotten. He had to try. He felt compelled to give it a chance to grow, but how could he achieve this? The station was a sterile environment. It was designed for machines and sensitive equipment, not for nurturing delicate life. There was no soil available. There was no natural sunlight to warm it, only the harsh utilitarian glow of the station's artificial lamps. He began to search the station's extensive digital archives for information on horticulture. The relevant data was sparse, almost completely forgotten. Yet he found enough to spark an idea, enough to begin the process. He would build a small haven for this tiny speck of hope. Jax became an impromptu engineer of life. He found an old discarded hydroponics tray in a forgotten storage locker. He carefully scavenged nutrient solutions from the station's medical bay, checking their composition. He repurposed a high-intensity examination lamp from a decommissioned science lab. He meticulously calibrated the light spectrum, trying to mimic a distant sun. He created a miniature controlled atmosphere within a clear, sealed container. It was a makeshift greenhouse, a tiny, improbable Eden in the vast, indifferent emptiness of space. He placed the precious seed within the nutrient-rich gel. His small workshop, once just for repairing station components, slowly transformed into a nursery. His touch, usually for cleaning and maintenance, became a gardener's gentle hand. Every cycle he checked on the seed, he monitored the temperature with precision. He adjusted the humidity levels within its small enclosure. He even found himself speaking to it in soft, encouraging tones, words he hadn't used with another being in many, many years. It became a quiet ritual, a daily devotion. The rest of the vast station continued its silent, indifferent hum around him. But in this small, illuminated corner, something new was stirring, a promise, a potential for life. Jax felt a growing connection to this tiny, dormant life form, a profound sense of responsibility. His deep solitude felt a little less empty now, filled with a nascent, burgeoning anticipation. Then, after many cycles of patient waiting, it happened. A minuscule crack, barely visible to the naked eye, appeared on the seed's dark surface. Days later, a tiny green sprout, impossibly delicate, pushed its way out into the artificial light. It was a small miracle, a quiet, defiant act of life emerging in the sterile, unyielding void. Jax watched, mesmerized, his breath caught in his chest. He had seen images of stars born in vast swirling nebulae through the station's powerful telescopes. But this felt more profound, more intensely personal. This was life he had personally nurtured. This was hope made visible, tangible. He felt a gentle warmth spread through him, a feeling long forgotten in his isolated existence. The plant grew with surprising speed and vigor. Its stem, slender yet remarkably strong, reached upwards for the nurturing light. Leaves began to unfurl, a vibrant, healthy green against the dull grey backdrop of the station's interior. They were unlike any leaves Jax had ever seen in pictures or diagrams of Earth plants. They seemed to shimmer faintly with an inner light. The plant twisted and turned slowly, as if it were dancing to some silent, unheard cosmic rhythm. It possessed an alien beauty, a stunning testament to the incredible resilience and adaptability of life. Jax continued his devoted care, his heart growing lighter with each new leaf that emerged. He felt like a guardian of something truly unique and special. One cycle, Jax awoke and went to check on his plant, and he saw an astonishing sight. At the very tip of the plant, a bud had formed overnight, and now, as he watched, it was beginning to open. Petals, the colour of a distant, beautiful nebula, slowly unfurled. They were shades of deep blues and mystical purples, with delicate hints of stardust gold woven through them. It was a true cosmic bloom. It pulsed with a soft internal light, reminiscent of the faint glow the time capsule had emitted. The very air around it seemed to hum with a gentle, almost imperceptible energy. Jax stood in complete awe. It was, without a doubt, the most beautiful thing he had ever seen, a flower born in the cold vacuum of space. As the last luminous petal fully opened, something even more extraordinary occurred. A focused beam of soft light projected from the flower's very center. It solidified in the air, forming a shimmering holographic image. It was a small child. The child looked directly at him, her eyes wide and clear. She smiled, a simple, innocent smile. Then her voice, clear and sweet as a distant bell, filled the small, quiet room. "Hello," she said, her image flickering slightly. "I planted this seed. I hope my flower finds a friend. I wish I had a friend." The message was simple, utterly innocent, a timeless wish from a child long ago, a heartfelt plea for connection sent across the vastness of time and space. Jax felt a powerful wave of emotion wash over him. Tears, unexpected, welled in his eyes, blurring his vision of the child's hopeful face. He, the solitary janitor, the man who had almost forgotten the feel of companionship, understood. He knew loneliness intimately. The child's simple wish resonated deep within his soul, striking a chord he thought had long gone silent. This flower was so much more than just a beautiful plant. It was a bridge, a tangible connection to a past heart, to a young life, a kindred spirit reaching out through the silent decades. The child wanted a friend, and her message, carried by this miraculous bloom, had found one. In a way, he had become that friend. He was no longer just an observer of the cosmos, but a participant in its gentle, connecting currents. He knew with absolute clarity what he had to do, This flower, this profound message of hope, was not meant for him alone. It was a gift intended for Earth, a delicate reminder of innocence, a vibrant symbol of enduring hope. It needed to complete its intended journey. The child's heartfelt wish deserved to be heard. It deserved to be felt by others back on the world from which it came. He would send it home. It was, in the grand scheme of things, a small act, sending a single flower across the vastness of space. But perhaps, he mused, small acts were often the most powerful. Perhaps they could ripple outwards like light from a star, touching countless lives in unseen ways. He felt a new, strong purpose ignite within him. With gentle, reverent hands, Jax prepared the cosmic bloom for its long voyage. He placed it carefully within a small, repurposed survey drone, ensuring its delicate structure was protected. He meticulously checked the drone's life support systems, ensuring its internal environment would remain stable and nurturing for the flower. He programmed the drone's trajectory with great care, a direct path to Earth. He attached a simple message of his own, encoded into the drone's signal, a friend found, a wish shared. It was his quiet whisper back to the past and a hopeful greeting to the future. He sealed the drone, its lights blinking. His heart was full, a bittersweet mix of sadness at parting with the beautiful flower and a profound joy at its important mission. Jax watched through the main viewport of the observation deck. The drone, a tiny, receding spark of light, detached smoothly from the station. It moved silently, gracefully towards the distant, swirling blue marble of Earth. It carried its precious cargo with care, a single flower from the stars, a child's innocent wish, a humble janitor's act of hope. He knew he might never see the flower again, nor learn of its reception, but he felt a profound, unshakable connection. His small act of care, his moment of empathy, had blossomed into something truly extraordinary. A message of friendship, a testament that even in the vast, seemingly cold universe, warmth, kindness and connection could bloom. The cosmos, he thought, felt a little less empty tonight.